On today's episode of Dave Makes Food, we're going to take a look at what is quite possibly the best conveyor belt sushi chain in Japan. I've eaten at many different chains all across Japan's 4 main islands, and today I'm pretty sure I've found the most delicious one. Not only was this some of the highest quality sushi I've had in Japan, it was also some of the cheapest. This chain combined incredible quality, low prices, and the most difficult ordering system I've ever encountered. So make sure to pay attention so you can enjoy a meal here too. Welcome to Hokkaido, Japan's northern island, which is well known for having the best seafood in the country. I'm currently in Sapporo, and today we're heading to Nemuro Hanamaru, a sushi chain that operates 13 stores in Japan, including several conveyor belt style ones. I had wanted to go on the weekend, but conveyor belt sushi is outrageously popular, so I waited until Monday morning. It opened at 11 a.m., so I arrived 20 minutes early and took a ticket, which said I would be the first group to enter after 64 other groups entered first. I was in total disbelief, to be honest. It wasn't even 64 people. 64 groups were ahead of me at 10:40 a.m. on a Monday. But after 1 hour, it was my turn to wait some more because they were only at number 40. But luckily, after 2 hours, I was able to enter the seated portion of the line, which was nice. And after 2 hours and 15 minutes, I was finally guided to the sushi counter and seated. A server came by and gave a pretty lengthy introduction, which luckily didn't end with a question because I had no idea what she said. I'm fairly sure she was telling me about the ordering system, but once she left, it was time to figure that out on my own because I was starving. Now, basically every conveyor belt sushi restaurant uses tablets, which makes it super easy to order since the tablets will likely have pictures and different languages available. Not a big deal. I've been to a couple without them. We'll just point to the pictures on the menu. That's not great, but maybe we can order verbally. How do we order then? Great question, Dave. Well, we have to order using these slips of paper, which I've done before, but each previous time, the name of the item was already printed and you just had to check the boxes. Not here. Here you actually have to write the name of the dish. And this was a huge surprise since I've never written anything in Japanese before. As usual, the first thing I did was read the menu, which was across the conveyor belt, obviously written in Japanese, and also in a shockingly small font. My far sight is questionable at best. I probably looked something like this. After breezing through reading the menu, it was time to test out my writing. I ordered Buri, Ikura, and something called Ikapon because I wanted to find out what it was. Now these are pretty simple Japanese characters, so I was pretty sure my order would be fine. And it was. All three arrived simultaneously just a few minutes later, and it turned out Ikapon just meant Ikaponzu. I probably should have been able to figure that one out, to be honest. The Ikura gunkins looked fantastic. Fresh, crispy nutty, holding large-sized cured salmon roe over sushi rice. It was full of rich, sweet, and savory fish flavor, but the rice was particularly delicious. Besides being perfectly chewy, with a balanced sweet, salty, and sour flavor, it was also quite warm, giving the sushi a very pleasant overall temperature. At many of the conveyor belt sushi restaurants, the rice is often around room temperature, but having the rice noticeably warmer makes it even more delicious. Next was the buri, which is the largest and highest grade of yellowtail. A very generous slice of fatty buri topped with some green onions. It was tender, with a medium richness, but mild flavor. The green onions added some contrasting freshness. For 150 yen a piece, these were outstanding pieces of sushi. Underneath your chair, there's a small basket to put your coat or bag or whatever, so it doesn't directly touch the floor, but it turns out it can also be used to catch your special neighbor's onigiri. Luckily it was empty, and the guy never even acknowledged me, but it was still extremely embarrassing. Anyways, moving on, the ikapon had a little bit of grated daikon, which helped to hold the ponzu sauce. This was another plate of premium sushi. Hokkaido squid are known for having the highest fat content and richness in Japan. The texture begins quite firm, but softens with every chew. And every chew you take releases this maximum rich, slightly sweet flavor that's unlike any other squid I've had before. Combined with the freshness of the daikon and salty citrus flavors of the ponzu, this was insanely delicious sushi. Squid are a true delicacy that you have to try if you ever visit Hokkaido. After a successful first round, I was feeling pretty confident in my ordering ability, so I decided to really up the difficulty. I ordered some sort of salmon sushi, which turned out to be the salmon equivalent of negitoro. Maximum soft, rich, and delicious. And then some fried potatoes showed up. Turns out what I thought was hotate fry turned out to be potate fry. Super unlucky. In fact, it was a pretty costly mistake in terms of stomach space. I had also ordered shrimp something, and that something turned out to be a massive roll with tempura shrimp, shiso, and mayo. The shrimp was freshly fried, so it was very delicious, and for only about $2, it was incredible value. But again, in terms of stomach space, it was pretty costly. I decided to take some butterfish off the actual conveyor belt, and then luckily my Aburi, Saba, and Engawa showed up correctly. The Aburi sushi are freshly blowtorched, so the texture and temperature are even softer and warmer, as well as having the added smoky aroma. The mackerel had a very soft and rich texture with a pleasant mild fish flavor. And the Engawa had a chewier texture, but much more rich mild flavor. It also had a sweet soy sauce brushed on it, which added an extra sweet and savory element. Both were excellent. The butterfish had a soft, rich, and buttery texture with mild flavor. It was also pretty good, but the flavor didn't stand out since I had just eaten the flavor-loaded torched sushis. I definitely should have eaten this one first, so learn from my mistake and eat the regular sushi before the torched ones if you want to enjoy their full flavor. After that, I was really full, but the chefs dropped a large round of a fried dish onto the conveyor belt, and everyone was taking one, so I did as well. It had a very savory fried soy aroma, similar to Taiwanese fried chicken, but when I took a bite, it was some extremely tender and rich tuna. Very large soft flakes of flavorful tuna that had been lightly marinated in a sweet soy sauce. Combined with the crispy and chewy starch coating, this was insanely delicious. Way better than any fried chicken I've ever tried. And after that, I was extra full, but I noticed the list of specials. I must have seen it before, but I hadn't read it or really taken a look at it. I obviously had to order what looked like crab egg sushi, since this was something I'd never even heard of before. They came out as Gunkin style and had hundreds, if not thousands, of tiny dark purplish black eggs. The texture was very similar to tobiko, The eggs themselves were quite firm with a pleasant popping texture. The flavor was briny, and that was about it. No sweetness, no seafoody or crab flavor, just a watery saltiness. There was nothing bad about it, but it was certainly less delicious than anything I was hoping for. Normally I wouldn't end on something average, but I was past full at that point. A total of 11 dishes for 3,795 yen, which seemed extremely reasonable considering I ordered a fair amount of premium dishes and probably ate enough for 2 people. On top of the reasonable price, the quality of everything was outstanding. Except this. These were literally just potato wedges thrown into hot oil with no seasoning. But I mean, nobody goes to sushi to eat potato wedges, and I only saw them served to one illiterate guy, to be fair. After eating here, I can confidently say Nemuro Hanamaru ranks pretty far above all the other conveyor belt sushi restaurants I've tried in Japan, with the exception of Kaiten Sushi Hokkaido, which despite the name is located in Matsue Prefecture. Both of these chains have much larger and higher quality cuts of fish for the same low prices as other competitors. What really sets them apart from the rest of the group is the rice. Both prepare it with a perfectly chewy texture and a well-balanced seasoning blend, but the temperature of the rice is what really sets them apart. It's noticeably warmer and truly makes the sushi more delicious. I highly recommend both if you get the chance, but Kaiten Sushi Hokkaido and its other restaurants are located in the Sannin region of Japan, which isn't really a popular destination. One final thing I will say is that although this was tied for the best conveyor belt sushi I've ever had, there's no sushi worth waiting over 2 hours for in Japan. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did. Let me know in the comments if there's a conveyor belt sushi chain you think is better, and if you've ever been to Nemuro Hanamaru and what you thought about it. My food adventure in Sapporo will continue soon. Thanks for watching.